coming up on 10 o'clock now, so we'll get started. If you have 2 blocks, you could grab them, that would be great. And if you don't own yoga blocks, that's fine. We can always do without, but it's really something worth having. And you can get them very cheap at Target or Walmart. And if you do decide to buy some blocks, buy 2 that are the same size. That'll help a lot when we're trying to do symmetrical kind of movements, okay? All right, so I'm on a little bit of a different tech setup this morning. I'm on a laptop instead of my iPad, and I'm in a different room than usual. So I'm gonna be doing a little bit of paying attention to my sound and being in screen. And actually today's class is going to be fun. We're doing people's favorite poses. So at the last class in October for Awakening Prana, I asked people to email me and let me know what your favorite poses, movements, breaths are, and I incorporated them into a class. So I got a lot of great emails. I might have more than a class worth, and if that's the case, we'll run it over into our next class. And if there's anybody who hasn't had a chance to let me know what they'd like to do, please email me, or if you already have and you have other ideas, feel free to email me too. We may end up doing a part 2 of our favorite poses. We got a lot of great suggestions. Okay, so are there any questions about anything before we start? Everyone's good? Okay, so I'm going to mute everybody so we have good sound. We're on here. See, now I'm on a Mac. So, I'm on a Mac with a touchpad. Usually the iPad or a PC with a mouse, so. Okay. All right, so I think I got everybody. So then I'm gonna have everybody on mute, but if there are any issues as we're going along, whether it's questions about what we're doing, or if my sound or picture is not good at any point, please turn on your microphone and let me know. Okay, so don't suffer in silence. Close that. Okay. So we're going to start in Paula's favorite pose, the crocodile. So we want to come on down onto the floor. We're going to lie on our bellies, and we're going to be stacking forearms one on top of another. Okay, forehead rests on forearms. And I'm going to move back to my spot. Okay, and as you come onto your belly now, you can rotate your thighs open so you're resting on your inner thighs, inner knee, inner ankle. Okay, so the feet are pointing out towards the side walls. If having your legs open like this isn't comfortable, feel free to just have neutral legs and be on the top of your feet, okay? And once you've settled into your crocodile pose, you can allow your body to become still and your eyes to close. And just taking a few moments now to bring your attention inside your body and get a sense of how you're feeling this morning, how you're holding your body this morning. So today is a rather exciting day, right? Election day. And we may be carrying around some anticipation, some stress about the events of today and tomorrow. And you might feel that in your body, in your shoulders, your jaw, in your low back. So we're not necessarily fixing anything at this point, we're just feeling it. And as you become aware of tension in your body, see if you can start to soften and get the sense that the body is sinking into the floor. More and more, we're letting go and we're trusting that the floor underneath you will support the weight of your body. So you might feel your head grow heavier on your arms. You might feel your chest drop. And then start to notice the movement of your breath. So if you bring your awareness down into your abdomen, you'll notice that as you inhale, the belly can press down into the floor. And as you exhale, the whole body sinks. So let's rest our awareness in the navel and just start to follow the flow of deep diaphragmatic breathing. The inhalation comes in through the nose, travels down the body, fills the space of the abdomen. The belly presses in, and there's almost a sense that we're rising up as we fill with breath. And a nice, slow, long, controlled exhale, we're sinking in and letting go. And when the lungs are empty, you might even draw your belly in a little bit. And again, nice long inhalation. Fill your belly, fill the sides of your waist, fill your chest. And when you have the sense that you are full, nice long exhale, again, emptying the chest, sides of the waist drawing in, body sinking into the floor. And you can start to let go of any feelings of momentum. All right, sometimes our mornings are very busy. We're doing this and that, getting ready for class. Whatever busyness you've been involved in between waking up and starting your practice, start to let go of that and get a sense that you're really here. Nowhere to go, nothing to do, just feeling the movement of the breath in the body. Good. And we're going to bring this into a side stretch now. So you could take your hands now, place your palms down on the floor, lifting your head, and not moving the pelvis, start to walk the upper body to the left. So walk as far as you can without moving your pelvis, and then we'll rest on the right cheek with the right arm on the floor, framing the head. Elbow is bent. Good. And in this position now, direct your breath into the right side of the body. So as you inhale, feel it through the right shoulder joint, right side of the rib cage, down into the waist. Again, the inhalation fills, expands, and the exhalation lets go. And then again, pressing down into the palms of your hands, not moving your pelvis. Let's start to walk the hands back to center. Good, your head and shoulders are up. And we're going to walk the upper body to the right. So walk as far as you can, again, without shifting. And we're resting now on the left cheek, left arm frames the head, elbow is bent. And now for about 5 long breaths, we're directing the breath into the left side of the body. Through the shoulder joint, through the side of the rib cage. And lying in this position, feel all the places where your body is in contact with the floor. So we're aware of the floor holding us as we breathe. And now press into your palms, walk yourself back to center, and we're going to be pushing back into an open leg child's pose. So palms are down on the floor, we'll press up into table. And once you're in your table position, big toes are touching, knees are open, and we'll drop the belly down into the space between the thighs. Good. And in your open child's pose, just having that feeling that the belly is dropping towards the floor, the chest is dropping towards the floor. You might feel your shoulder blades sliding towards one another. Good. And let your forehead rest on the floor, so the head can be heavy. And we'll take about 3 long belly breaths here. Good, inhaling and filling, exhaling and sinking in. And then again, come to the palms of your hands, start to walk yourself back up, and we're going to come to seated. So you can grab a blanket or your bolster, whatever is a comfortable seat for you on the floor. And we're going to do a few of our joints and glands. These are Bridget's favorite, mine too. I love incorporating the joints and glands movements into all practices. Okay, so we're sitting up nice and tall through the center line of the body. And let's just do a couple shoulder rolls to start. Shoulders up to the ears, press back, release down and roll forward. Inhaling up and back, exhaling down and through. Good, nice big slow movements. And just paying attention to sensation as you move. Okay, let's come to the place where the shoulders are up by the ears. Hold here for just a moment. Press back and drop. All right, so there's a slight lift to the breastbone. The lower back is relaxed. Let's take the heels of the hands. And now coming to the forehead, we're pressing in, drawing circles. Good, you can work down towards your eyebrows, up towards your hairline. So we keep a lot of tension in the facial muscles. Good. As you're moving the heels of your hands, let your jaw soften. Allow the teeth to part. Good. And you might even bring the heels of your hands down to work on the jaw line itself. So we're moving down towards the chin. Belly is soft, breaths are deep. Good. And now taking the pointer finger and middle finger of each hand, we'll come to the space between the eyebrows, press in, and draw the fingers down and across the cheekbones, all the way out to the soft spot in the ear. Again, so just doing that 2 or 3 times. Maybe a lot of pressure feels good. Maybe a soft touch feels good, so you can adjust. Good. And again, sternum is lifted. Let's let the chin fall. Again, so slowly releasing the weight of your head. The chin is dropped down towards your chest. Again, we'll be using our fingertips, pointer finger and middle finger of each hand, and we're coming to the back of the neck. So at the back of the neck, you can feel those 2 rope-like muscles that travel along either side of the vertebra, and we're drawing little circles. Again, you can adjust how much pressure feels good. Circles, or you might just draw the fingers up and down the back of the neck. As you're doing this, your shoulders are falling, your head is falling. Also feels nice to pinch that place where the shoulders and neck meet. And another important place to move the fingertips is along the base of the skull. So when you're up at the top of your neck, you can move right along that bony ridge out to the space behind the ear. Again, little circles. Good. And as your fingertips are working out that tension, getting energy moving, getting fluid moving, just pay attention to what it feels like. And you might find that you're exhaling out the tension the fingers work out. Good. And then whenever you're ready, we're sitting up nice and tall again. Let's bring the hands up by the shoulders. Palms are forward, fingers are spread, and we're going to press forward. So just like you're pushing through water. And then we'll make fists with the hands and drop the fists. Okay, so we feel this across the forearm, across the top of the wrist. Good. And then relax, bring the arms back in. Good, again, pushing through water. So we feel a little bit of resistance here. And then we make fists, so nice and strong. Squeeze your hands and drop. Okay, make sure you're not also holding your breath. So we're still soft and breathing into the belly. Hands are squeezing. And relax. Good. Shake the arms, shake the hands. Good. And now we're going to point forward with the pointer fingers and just draw circles. Good. So we're moving now at the wrist joints. Good. Again, maybe some little clicks and cracks. And then the other way. Okay. And then we can let the hands rest on the knees. Okay. And next we're going to be moving into our open leg forward bend. So this was Tracy M's favorite pose. And I think I said last week, mine too. This is also called straddle in yin yoga. So if you're up on a bolster, you're going to want to come down onto something a little lower so you don't feel that you're going to fall forward. Folded blanket is nice, or if you have a little cushion under your tailbone, you can also be flat on the floor. Okay, and we're going to open the legs up. And before we work on the forward bend part of this, we're going to pay attention to our feet. And we're going to press through the heels, spread the toes, and then point the toes. Good. So flexing and pointing. And then draw some circles with the big toes. Again, nice and slow. Get the biggest circle available at the ankle joints. Good. And then rolling your circles the other way. And then relax your legs. Okay. The hands are now in between the thighs, and we'll do a little bit of brushing. So the right fingertips will brush towards the left ankle joint and come back. Left fingers, right ankle joint and back. Again, it's a nice easy motion. And we're starting to kind of prime the body to be holding. And we'll continue brushing, but now we'll brush forward and back. So straight out the center line and back. Good. And this time let's brush out and we'll stay here. And now you have the option of either holding this with the back flat, or you can round forward. Okay. If you'd like to round forward onto a bolster or a block or some other prop, you can pull that into place now. We're going to be here for about 12 breaths. So it's ideal if you can support the weight of your head somehow. It could be in your hands. So I could be up on a block or on a bolster or on the floor, supporting my face and my hands. I could be stacked fists, resting my forehead on my fists. Again. If you're up taller, if your back is flat in this position, you don't need to worry so much about the weight of your head causing any discomfort in the neck. And as we start to move into our breaths, I'm going to invite you to use the Ujjayi or ocean breath. So for this breath, we constrict the throat just a little bit so we get kind of a raspy sound from our breathing. And in your ocean breath, the breaths are still very long. And we start to let the mind relax into the sound of breathing. There's something very comforting, very meditative about listening to your body breathe. And just noticing how the breath fills us. And as you exhale out, maybe you drop in a little more. So aware of the sound of your breath, aware of sensation in your body, inner thighs, back of the legs, maybe the back itself. And then start to walk yourself back up. And we're going to take a side bend. So keep the legs in this position. We'll take the left arm and just place your left arm in your low back. Okay, so just slide it into the low back. Good. And your right hand can be on your right leg. And we're going to start to drop right ear towards right knee. So we're just tipping, tipping, tipping. And when you come to that place where your body naturally stops, let's just stay here now, 5 breaths. And just make sure that the left sit bone stays planted. So we're not tipping to the point where we're lifting the hip. We're firmly planted on both sit bones, letting the weight of the body just spill right. Okay. And then let's tip up nice and slow. We'll switch arms now. So right arm feeds into the lower back and the left arm is going to slide down the left leg as the body tips left. And when you find your edge, that place where you naturally stop, we'll stay there, we'll breathe. Again, staying aware of being planted on our seat. And then tipping back up. Okay, again, the hands will rest on the legs. Let's take 3 more big shoulder rolls. And we're going to move into the Sphinx pose. So I chose the Sphinx pose today as a very nice counter movement to our forward fold. So we're gonna come back down onto our bellies. You can take your seat and just place it to the side for now. Good. And in Sphinx pose, the legs are neutral. So you're right on your kneecaps and the tops of your feet. Okay. And our hands can be, I don't know, I think I'm cutting off. I should slide my camera back, but so you're on your belly, I'm sitting up. Your elbows should be right underneath your shoulders and your forearms are parallel. Okay. If this is too high, if it's too much of a squeeze in the lower back, hands come together in a triangle, pointer fingers touching, thumbs touching, slide your elbows out and lower your upper body a bit. Okay, so we want to be in the place where we feel that nice lumbar squeeze, but it's not painful. Okay. Okay. If you are in this position with the arms parallel, and you want to get a little more squeeze, you can bend at the knees and bring your heels in towards your seat. Okay, so this is kind of a fun leg variation. Bring your heels in. Your legs are here. Okay, nice long deep breaths. Again, we'll do about 10. And just notice that you're tall in your shoulders, but not straining. And I get my touch pad. Everyone just make sure you're muted. All right, good. So then from here, we're going to push back into our regular child's pose. So your hands will come to either side of your rib cage. Take it nice and slow. It's a big change. Good. And this time the belly is resting on the thighs. Taking a few breaths. There we go. I'll get better at this. Good. And our next position will be our downward facing dog. Good. So from your child's pose now, let's come up into a table. Good. And from table, the toes will turn under, and let's take a nice big stretch. Good. So lifting your sit bones up towards the ceiling, pressing through the palms of your hands. And then come back to your knees. And from table position, we'll start to move into spinal wave or cat and cow. So cat and cow were Janine's favorite poses. We're going to drop the sit bones down towards the back of the knees, arch up along the spine. And as the palms press into the floor, release your head. Sit bones are lifting, release the belly, release the chest, look forward. Good. And cat and cow are nice movements to do with your eyes closed. And just let your awareness follow the articulation of the spine. Good. And then we're going to start to bring this into a flossing type movement. So when you're down in your cow position, the sit bones move back towards the heels, and then we're going to roll up into cat, rock out over the wrists, drop into cow, pull back, up over the wrists, draw forward. Good. So the same spinal movement, but now the hips are rocking forward and back. maybe 2 more. And then when you're done, you can walk yourself back to kneeling. And we're going to get ready for our pigeon pose. I actually got 2 votes. So Lori and Tina both voted for pigeon. If you know how you like to support your pigeon, you may want a bolster or your blanket for your upper body for support. You may like a block under your hip. Get that ready now. And we're gonna go into pigeon through table. If you prefer to go in through down dog, you can do it that way as well. Okay, but we're gonna stay low to the floor now. Okay, so when you're ready, you're in your table position and we're going to bring the right knee up to the right wrist and rotate the thigh inward. Slide the left leg back. And then once you're here in your leg position, you can support your upper body by having your bolster or blanket out in front of the right shin. You can let your right hip float in the air. For some folks, it's down on the floor. If your right hip is floating, you could stick a block under there. If it doesn't hurt, floating is kind of the yin posture of letting go, right? Of gravity dropping that hip. So again, intensity is fine, pain is not. So if you need a support, have a support in there. Okay, so once the legs are set up, let's bring the upper body down to the floor. This is pigeon pose in Hatha Yoga or the sleeping swan in Yin Yoga. It's a very deep hip opener. So we should be feeling this in the right hip, the right buttock. Knees and ankles should be at rest. So if you're feeling any strain in your knees or ankles, adjust your legs. Maybe bring them in, bring your right leg in a little closer to you. And just as we did in our straddle or open leg forward fold, be aware of sensation in your body, where you're feeling this the most. And directing your awareness and your breath into those spaces. Let's be here about 5 more breaths. And then we'll start to walk the body back. And we're going to do a kind of a back bend version of this. So keeping the legs where they are, you can come up on your fingertips into your tented fingers. Open your chest and look at the ceiling. We'll only be here for about 3 or 4 breaths. Good. So Kapotasana now as a back bend, chest opener. Good. And then coming back to the palms of your hands, let's bring the hips back. Again, nice and slow. We're usually beautifully a little stiff coming out of that. And moving into table with legs closed. Okay, so we're going to do a few pelvic rotations before we move to the other side. So hands are just a little out in front of you. Pelvis drops, hip out to the side and back, other side and forward. Good. So move into it slow. And when things start rolling nicely, your circles get bigger. Good. And then we'll circle the other way. Good. Again, nice big movements. And then when you're ready, let's bring ourselves back to table and we'll get ready for pigeon pose, other side. So this time we're going to be sliding the left knee forward up to the left wrist, rotating the thigh inward and sliding the right leg back. Yeah, and once you have your legs in position, if you'd like to place something underneath your left hip, you can do that. If you'd like something for your upper body, go ahead and grab that. And we'll start to walk ourselves into our sleeping swan. And once you're there, if you can, allow yourself to be still. You might notice that the left side is either more difficult or maybe easier than the other side. Right, sometimes we have one hip that is tighter than the other. Good, release your breath, nice long, deep belly breaths. Face is soft, upper back is soft. And breath is moving into spaces that feel constricted. Good, about 3 more breaths. And then coming to the palms of your hands, start to walk your upper body up. Good. Again, we'll do this as a back bend. So coming up onto your fingertips, lift your heart and look up, little back bend. Good. This is beautiful. Opening for the front of the body. Good. And then from here, back to table. So palms of your hands. Let's slowly bring the legs back underneath the hips. And we'll take down dog here. So toes turn under, lift up. And again, giving yourself a nice full body stretch. It might feel good to bend opposite knees. Might feel good to lift up and down onto your toes. And we're going to be moving from here to a ragdoll standing forward fold. So when you're ready, you can come up on your tiptoes, bend your knees, and start to walk your hands back towards your feet. And when the heels drop, you can either grab a block, have your hands on the block, or you could pretzel your arms and just let them dangle and start to straighten your knees to your capacity. Again, just allowing the weight of your head and shoulders to lengthen the spine. This creates some really nice traction along the back. And we're allowing a lot of fresh energy for circulation up into the face, the forehead. Good. Bending the knees now, draw your navel in, and let's start to slowly roll up. So we're making our way up into our mountain pose. And when you're all the way up, check down that your feet are parallel. Let's bring the shoulders to the ears and press back. Good. Just taking a moment to find our balance over the arches of the feet. Let's take a nice inhalation. We're going to bring the arms up, lift up onto the toes. And then exhale, heels down, press back. Good. 5 breaths, just like this. Inhale, lift up. Exhale, come back. Good. You can pace this to your breath. And concentrating. And the next time you come up on your toes, let's stay there. Nice strong feet, 3 breaths. Good, chest is lifted, shoulders are relaxed. And then heels down, arms down. Okay, let's walk a little bit. We're going to be at the back of the mat, so we're going to be set up for lunging. Okay, so from our mountain pose, the left thigh is going to rotate open just a little bit, and the right leg will step forward. Good. And when your feet are in place, let's bend the right knee and come back. Good, so keep going, and just notice that the knee is ending either over the ankle or right before the ankle, not coming over the foot. I'm on a rug without a pad, so it's sliding. Good, so we're dropping down into the knee now, and we're going to move into a crescent moon pose. So crescent moon can be done in this warrior 1 setup with your back foot down. Or if you'd like to move into the lunging position, you're going to come onto your toes and soften that back knee a little bit. Okay, so this is a true lunge position in the legs, or if warrior 1 feet feel a little bit more steady, your back heel is down. Good. Arms are up by the ears. And then let's lift the heart, look up at the ceiling. Good, so I'd like you to feel like somebody has your fingertips and they're lifting you. Good, 5 breaths. Nice and steady. And then arms down, and we're going to stay in this position. And this is for Tina, who likes warrior 3. We're going to move right into warrior 3. So your front leg will stay planted just where it is, and let's start to come out over the leg. Good, left leg is lifting. You can bring your arms back. This keeps the chest open. Or if you'd like to weight your pose, make it a little trickier, the arms can be forward. So your call. Good. If we can, 5 breaths over the right arch. And then the left leg comes back. And let's bring the right foot back. Okay, so walk a little bit. And again, we're set up in our mountain pose. Okay, so crescent moon, that's for Mary Louise. Let's go and do it again. This time, right leg is open just a little bit, so we're rotating at the hip. Left leg is forward. Okay, and setting up our lunging. Good, hips, chest, eyes are straight ahead. Okay, and then dropping down into your left knee, we're going to be moving into crescent moon. Again, keep the warrior 1 stance if this feels best, or come up onto your toes and back. For lunging legs. Arms are up by the ears. Find steady first. And then let's lift the chest, little back bend, eyes to the ceiling. If you are on your toes in your back leg, you can kind of press your heel down towards the mat, get quite a nice stretch down the back of the leg. Notice if your breathing is relaxed, if your shoulders are away from your ears, no tension. Sometimes our back bends make us smile, right? They're very energetic. And then thinking about how you would move from here to warrior 3. So let your arms come down. Body starts to come out over that left leg. Right leg lifts behind, reach through your fingertips. Good. Again, goal is 5 breaths. And I could do a easier version of this, keep my toes on the floor if I wanted as well. Okay, so do whatever feels best. And when you hit 5, back leg comes back, and draw your feet together. Okay, walk it out. Okay, and then if you do have 2 blocks, let's grab those. And we're gonna have them nearby. Okay, so this is now pyramid pose for Lauren. So pyramid pose is another wonderful standing stretch. So before we get into that, let's do a little bit of work for the chest. We're going to interlace the fingers behind the back and then start to straighten your elbows and move your hands down. As the hands move down, lift your chin towards the ceiling. Good, so opening the throat, the upper chest. And you might imagine that you could breathe into the throat chakra. Okay, so that center is right at the base of your neck, at that notch in your collarbone. And we're feeling the breath moving in and out of the throat center. Hands are moving down with gravity, no forcing, no pushing, just heavy. Good. And then relax that so your eyes are forward. We're going to keep the fingers intertwined. And then once again, the elbows will straighten. And this time, instead of bringing them down, we're going to see if we can lift them up off the body. Eyes stay forward. And we're going to be breathing into the heart. So see if you could take 3 big chest breaths. The inhalation expands across the chest. Exhale, relax, relax, relax. Good. And then let go of your hands. Okay, I'll shake them out a little bit. Alrighty, and here we go. So this is Parshvottanasana, or the pyramid pose. We're going to start by opening the left thigh a little bit. So the left thigh rotates open, and I might say even a little less than it does for warrior 1. Okay, you want to make sure that the pelvis is always facing forward, that we're not twisting off to the side. And then the right foot comes forward, and we're just going to have the blocks out here by the right foot. So this looks a lot like I'm getting ready for warrior 1, but maybe it's a little more conservative. Maybe the left thigh isn't rotated open quite as much. Again, the fingers are interlaced. They're on the sacrum. We're going to inhale, tip out over the straight leg. And wherever your body stops, bend your knee, exhale, push up, and straighten the leg. Okay, I'm going to do this 5 times. Inhale, long over the straight knee. And then bend the knee, push in, exhale, come up, and straighten again. Okay. So go ahead, just keep moving to the rhythm of your own breath. Okay. So when you're coming up, your knee is bent. Okay. And now the next time that you come out over your leg, we're going to stay there. Okay, so my goal in this pose is to keep my back neutral. Shoulder blades are together, crown of the head is forward. And if you would like to do the chest expander here, you could straighten your elbows. You could lift your arms up off your body. Okay, so it's not mandatory. Hands could also stay resting. Okay, 2 more breaths. This is a wonderful back strengthener. And then the hands come back down, deep bend in the front knee, and let your hands fall. Okay, so if your blocks are there, your hands are falling onto your blocks. If you don't have blocks, your fingertips could be on the floor. And then once you're there, once your hands are on something, you can start to slide your sit bones back, coming towards a straight knee. And then letting the head and shoulders really drop and relax out over the leg. Okay, so let's see if we can stay here for about 5 breaths. Good. And if your knee is straight, just be careful it's not locked. Sometimes we feel more stable by locking the knee, and that's not good for it. So there's a 1% bend in your front leg. Good. And then as we start to think about coming out, deep bend in the front knee. Let's take our hands back up onto the sacrum, fingers intertwined, flat back. Push into your foot, slow, slow, slow. Come on up. And let's step back. And again, walk around a little bit. And shake out anything that was kind of hanging on for dear life. Okay. And then when you're ready, you can find yourself back at the back of the mat. And we're getting ready for left side. So now the right thigh is going to open a little bit, rotates open a little bit, so toes are pointing off, and the left leg comes forward. So find your stance, hands are on your hips. Good. Let's bend in and come back. Good. And then intertwine the fingers, and we'll start to move as we did before. Inhaling, flat back, just tipping at hip joints out over the leg. Deep bend in the knee, push in, come back. Knee straightens, and again. Inhale, long over the left leg. Deep bend in the knee, push, come up, and straighten. Good, so keep going. We're inhaling on the way down, exhaling on the way up. Sorry, I'm sliding. Okay, and then the next time that you're forward, we'll stay there. So you're looking at the floor. Your back is neutral, straight line from the pelvic floor to the crown. Shoulder blades are towards one another, so the chest is open. And if you'd like to, again, lift your arms, your elbows could straighten, your arms could come up off the back, or they can rest on the sacrum. So feeling the bottoms of your feet, feeling stable. And 2 more breaths. And then deep bend in that front knee, let your arms fall. Again, falling to the floor, falling to blocks. And then the sit bones move back to your capacity. So coming to a straight knee or towards a straight knee, and then letting the upper body relax. So heavy shoulders, heavy head. Good. And we're here for about 5 breaths. And again, having that feeling of fullness moving into the head. And then again, let's move to a bent knee. So bend the left knee deeply. Hands come back up to rest on the sacrum. And then push into your foot, tip up, tip, 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 tip. Okay, hands step together. And walk it out. few shoulder rolls, right? Those are pretty big chest opening movements with the arms. Okay, we'll step a little bit wider now. Rotate the thighs open. And let's just take a few squats. And I think it would be beneficial to do some hip rolls here. So if you want to hold on to something when you're standing on one leg, you may want to have a chair or a wall nearby. You want to do it out in the middle of the room? Do that too. So we're going to come back to our mountain pose. Again, you might have a wall, a chair, something nearby. And let the weight of your body come over the left arch. Let's lift the right knee high. Press back, around and through. Okay, so 5 big circles. It might feel good to flex your feet, spread your toes. Okay, these could be big circles, they could be little tiny circles, yours. Okay, and then switch direction. So slow, mindful. So slow is actually harder because you're lifting your leg with your muscles, not with momentum. Okay. And then let it land. Okay, and walk a little bit. And then when you're ready, we're going to move to the other side. So now the weight of your body comes over the right arch. Left knee lifts. Press back, around and through. Okay, so my hands are on my pelvis to kind of remind my pelvis to be still. And probably can't be 100% still, but I'm trying to isolate this movement to my hip joint, right? That's where the action is. And then when you're ready, we're going to take it back, around and through. Okay, one more. And down. Okay, good. So again, walk it out. All right, we're gonna get ready for some side angles now. Okay, so for side angle, I'm gonna be advising you to face the long end of your mat. I'm gonna be facing the short end, so I'm facing you. But we'll take a nice wide stance. Rotate the thighs open a little bit. And if you'd like to use your block could be between the legs, but out in front. I'm resting the heels of my hands on that block and just lunging side to side. Okay, so I'm gonna actually move this mat now. And then when you're ready, we're going to set up for our side angle legs. Right toes are going to be facing the short end of your mat. Left toes will be facing towards the center line. Got it? Okay, so let's come up for a moment. Let's bend the right knee. Good. And again, that block is within reach. Let's bend down deep into the right knee. And now we're going to tip out over the right leg and rest the right arm on the thigh. Good. Let's take the left arm and rest it in the low back. So this is just going to remind us to face forward and not start to roll close. Okay, so we're up a little bit high here on the thigh. You might notice if you could drop that hand and come to your block. Okay, so stop wherever your body says, hey, stop. But if this seems kind of okay, you might try a flat block. You might try the floor. Good. If you make it to the floor, you might bend into your right knee a little more and then see if this right hand could come back and find the left. Okay. These days I'm here, so if they aren't meeting, that's fine. Okay. But the chest is forward, hands are wrapped. Okay. Stay here for about 4 breaths. And then when you're ready, hand comes back to the block or floor, back to the knee, and up. Okay, let's walk. So we didn't put our arm up in the air that time, but we're gonna get back to side angles in a little bit. So for now, we're good. Wide stance. Thighs rotated open a little bit. Again, let's just lunge side to side, get our block ready. And then hands can come down onto the block. And we're going to set up our feet so the left toes face the short end, right toes face inward. Perfect. And let's lunge upright. So bending the left knee, dropping in. And then the next time you drop into your left knee, left forearm rests on the thigh. Right arm feeds into the low back. Okay, so we stay here for a few breaths. This is step 1. And this might be the best place for you to be. If you start to feel good here, the hand might come down and rest on the block instead of the thigh. It might be a tall block. After a few breaths, it might be a flat block. It might be the floor. Good. The important thing is that you're not starting to make this into a forward bend. Okay. Good. And again, if you're on the floor with your fingertips and you think that your left hand could meet your right, the left hand can reach through the legs, find the right hand, and you'd be doing something like a posture clasp, fingers clasped. Okay. Whichever position you've chosen, 5 breaths. And then we'll come back to the floor or the block. And then pop up onto your thigh. Good. And then come back up to standing and take a walk. Good. A couple deep breaths. Alrighty, so we're going to move now into a flow called the golden seed. And let's see, this is something both Lori and Bob like. In the golden seed, we're going to be doing a reverse side angle. Okay, so the side angle we were just working on now, the same foot and leg were together. So right and right. For the reverse version, the left hand will come down and I'll be looking behind me. Okay, and many of you know this flow. So if you can bear with me, I'm going to take this rug up because I'm slipping everywhere. You know, you get used to one surface and then. So to start out with the golden seed, you're going to be in a big squat. So find your squatting legs. We actually have guys here replacing our windows in the front classroom, so find your big squatting legs. And you might even squat a few times to make sure you like them. This is much better. I don't feel like I'm gonna fall. Okay. Okay, and then we're standing up nice and tall in squatting legs. Take a big inhalation. And bringing the hands behind the head, we're gonna drop into the knees, exhale, push out. Good, might stay here for a breath. And then inhaling, stand up tall, toes are forward, arms are overhead. And this movement is elephant drops his trunk. So exhale, drop your hands to the floor. Good. And then we're going to walk the hands over to the left foot. Find your side angle legs. Left knee is bent, right toes are turned towards center, and the left arm will lift. So this is reverse side angle. And then come back to the floor, walk through center, walk to your right foot, and we just pivot on the heels. So now the right knee is bent, left toes are looking at the center line. Right arm lifts, look behind you. Good, and then close. And then we're coming down into a deep squat. Palms are facing you. Inhale, stand up, gathering energy up into the heart. And then as you exhale, we'll push up overhead and drop into the knees. Okay, so that's the first part of the sequence. And then we're going to inhale, stand up tall, toes forward. Exhale, dipping bird. Good, so this is a forward fold with the arms up behind you and back. And then inhale, rocking horse. Rocking horse, knees are bent and you're holding the reins of your horse. And then again, exhale, dipping bird. And now from dipping bird, bring your hands to the floor, come into a deep squat. And we're going to swoop the arms up this time. Inhale, come up. Hands touch overhead. Step the legs together. Exhale, hands to the heart. Good. Take a moment to rest here. And then we'll do it one more time, just a little bit more quickly, meaning we're going to stay with the breath. Okay? So when you're ready, open up the legs into your squatting position. Good, thighs are rotated open. Big inhalation, bring the arms up overhead. Exhale, drop down into your knees and push. Inhale, stand up tall, toes forward. Exhale, drop your trunk. Walk over to your left foot, pivot, side angle legs. Inhale, lift the left arm, reverse side angle. And then close, walk through center, over to your right foot. Inhale, right arm lifts. Exhale, come back to center, big squat. Good. And then inhale, draw energy to your heart, come on up. Exhale, push overhead, fall into the knees. Okay, stay here a moment. And then inhale, nice and tall, toes are forward. Exhale, dipping bird. Inhale to rocking horse. Exhale, dipping bird. Good. And then drop your hands down to the floor, big squat. You're going to swoop the arms up, inhale. Palms touch overhead. And then as you exhale, step together, bring your hands to your heart. And breathe. Good. And then let the eyes open. Okay. I'd like to do 10 Agnisara breaths now, and then we're going to move down onto the floor with our blankets. I still have more poses that you guys wanted to do. Likely this will be a part A, part B practice. Okay, so this is part A, and I'll be definitely getting to some more next time. So let's soften down into our knees and get ready for our breathing. Hands are above the knees. Relax your belly, relax your pelvic floor. Take a big inhalation. And then as you exhale, lift and squeeze pelvic floor, draw the low abdomen in, draw the belly in. Inhale, release belly, low abdomen, pelvic floor. Good. Again, exhale, pelvic floor, low abdomen, navel. Inhale, navel releases, low abdomen releases, pelvic floor releases. Again, do about 10. And whenever you do get to 10, you can start to move down to the floor. And we're going to do a variation of the fish pose using the support of the blanket. And from there, we're going to move right into our final relaxation. So have whatever you need for your final relaxation near you now. If you need a meditation cushion, if you want to put on your socks or a fleece, or you have an eye pillow. So be ready so that you don't have to move much in between. And what we're going to do is take your blanket or towel, and we're going to open it up. This is one of those things that's a little trickier in home practice to find. Same things you might find in the studio or at the Institute. Okay. So I'm going to fold my blanket in half, just like this. I'm going to place it down on the floor, and I'm going to start rolling it from one of the short ends. Okay. And when you're done rolling, you should come up with a tube. Okay, so I have something like this. If you have a bolster, you can also use a bolster. I find that a lot of times bolsters lift you up a little bit too high. So it depends. If you want those big hugger mugger bolsters, it might be a little bit too high to relax over. If you have a flatter or an old bolster, that can do the trick as well. Okay, but we have some kind of back support. And then what we're going to do is we're going to place this blanket in the center of the mat. And I'm going to sit down so that it touches the back of my pelvis. Okay. And then you're going to lie down over the rolled blanket. So what's important is that whether it's a bolster you're using or a rolled blanket, that it's feeding into your lower back, but not lifting your pelvis up off the floor. You should feel that your sit bones are right on the floor. Because if you start to overarch the lower back, it won't feel good. Okay. So I might need to play with it a little bit. But just have that whole space of your lower back is filled in by the blanket. Good. It moves up along the spine, up between the shoulder blades. And you can just let your arms rest alongside, rotate it open, backs of your hands. And you might lift your head for just a moment, look at your toes, and then bring your head back to the blanket, again with a little less of an arch in the neck. Good. So this is doing something very similar to what we were doing with the chest expander, right? In the chest expander, we were interlacing our fingers behind the back and lifting the arms up off the back. You can feel how this is a lot softer. Right, it has a similar effect, as a similar kind of stretch for the body, but this is a much softer version of the chest expander. So as you start to settle into the blanket, you can let your eyes close and start to feel that your inhalation is entering at your tailbone. And the inhalation travels right up the spine, so right along the blanket to the crown of your head. And the exhalation is moving from the crown of your head down the body and out through your tailbone. Continue to follow your breath up and down the center line of the body. And more surrendering the weight of your body to the blanket. All right, the blanket holds you. So your shoulders fall a little more. You feel a little heavier on the blanket. And now relax across your forehead. Soften the space around your eyes. Across your cheekbones. Soften your jaw. Your awareness travels into the sides of your neck and the back of your neck. Relaxing to your shoulder joints, upper arms and elbows, lower arms and wrists. Soften your hands. Soften the palms of your hands, the backs of your hands. Move up into your elbows, up into your shoulders. Relax into the sides of your rib cage. Across your upper back and down between your shoulder blades. Soften the space around the heart. Travel down to your lower back. Relax the lower back. And softening your belly. Watching the belly move as you breathe. On the inhalation, the breath travels into the body. And on the exhalation, the breath travels out. Relax down into your hip joints. Relax your buttocks, the pelvic floor, and softening the muscles in the thighs. Relax your knees. lower legs and ankles. Soften your feet, the arches of the feet, the tops of your feet, all the little joints in your toes. Let your whole body be heavy. And now if you'd like to leave the blanket, you can, but you may be ready to move it out. So if you'd like to move the blanket or other support out now, just roll to your side a little bit and just kind of push it off, and then come back to Shavasana. Yeah, maybe the blanket goes over you now. Okay, so just shifting now from your supported fish pose to Shavasana. And I want you to feel where the blanket was, as if it were still there. So still feel that strong support up the center line of your body. Again, inhale at the tail, draw your breath up to the crown. And exhale from the crown down the center line of the body to the tail. And just feeling this breath traveling up and down. The mind and the breath travel together. And today, for something a little different, we're going to use the Om mantra. Normally we use Soham, but this practice is called the Om Kriya. And as the breath and the awareness are moving up and down the spine, so will the sound Om. So I'm going to say it for you a couple times, and then you're going to internalize that sound and hear it in your own mind. So as you inhale, feel the breath begin to move up the body, hearing in your own mind, and as you exhale from the crown down the body, hear in your own mind, inhale up. Exhale down. Good. Continue. And at first it might feel a little choppy. That's okay. You're aligning breath, awareness, and sound. And as you move from point A to point B, up and down the body, sound, awareness, and breath become one. And when they start to become one, you can relax your effort and just rest in the vibration. And you might start to see this pathway filled with brilliant white light, becoming more and more purified, so that the breath easily just glides up and down. And you start to feel that the sound of the mantra is deeply nourishing, strengthening, and that you can relax yourself completely into the vibration of Om. Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Peace, peace, peace. And now allow the sound of the mantra to go. And just breathe normally. Bring your awareness out into your fingers and toes and start to wiggle. As you're moving the fingers, wrists, ankles, you might rock your head a little bit. Drawing your attention back out into this room. And then keeping your eyes closed or just softly open, you can roll to your side and come up onto your seat. And then we can bring our hands into prayer. Lead me from the unreal to the real. Lead me from darkness into light. Lead me from fear into knowledge of the eternal. Asato ma sat gamaya. Tamaso ma jyotir gamaya. Mrityor ma amritam gamaya. Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. And now let's take our hands over our eyes. Allow the eyes to slowly open to the darkness of your hands. And when you're ready for your hands to come away. Thank you all so much. Thank you for being here this morning and starting this day off right with your yoga practice. So I have a few more postures on my list, and we'll do more next time that you guys want to do. And anybody else who wants to email me, let me know. We can add things too. Okay. So have a really wonderful, wonderful week.
Thank you, Tracy. That was great.
Oh, good. I'm glad.
Yeah, it was challenging, but it was wonderful. Thank you.
Yeah, hopefully I'll be back in the other room next time. If not, we need a carpet pad for this. The rug is like sliding. I'm like, oh,
Yes, it's interesting to watch you, move furniture and rearrange the room while we're doing it. But
I know, this is HGTV yoga. And it's just getting used to the space. I got very used to the other room, and this is a lovely room too. I just have to get used to what's where.
Thank you.
Thank you, Tracy.
Thank you, Tracy.
Oh, sure, no problem. Good to see you.
It was very grounding for today.
Yeah, needed.
Yeah, perfect.
I know, I have to go home and hang around with my kids who are all gonna be.
Yeah. It's a crazy day. Well, it'll be a crazy week maybe.
Yeah, we might not know anything more next Tuesday. So.
Right. We'll see.
Yeah, we'll see. That's all we can do.
Take care. Have a good week.
Yeah, you too.